What's up, movie crew? It's that time again. Time for me to show off everything I watched during the month of April. Before we get into that, two things. If you are new to this channel, my name is Luke. This channel is Let's Watch a Movie. If you are a fan of movie reviews, movie rankings, Blu-ray hauls, and just anything related to cinema and physical media, you have come to the right place. So hit that subscribe button. Second, if you've been watching the last few videos, then you know that I've already done one video showing off the things I've watched last month. That video was the movies that I watched during Mid-Level Media's Stallone month. I will not be doing any overlapping, so if you want to see what I watched that's strictly Stallone, pin comment down below, go check that out. But without further ado, time to show off everything I watched during the month of April. Now, I do want to point out that if you follow the channel and you follow my movie reviews, then you know that Morbius came out April 1st. Well, I got to see it a day early, so it is not going to be mentioned because I watched it during the month of March, technically. So, I'm not counting that for the 6 movies I saw in theaters. The very first movie I saw during the month of April, I did a double showing. I went to the movies on a Friday. I saw Ambulance that afternoon, and then I saw Sonic 2 that evening. Ambulance, it's your typical Michael Bay movie. It had some good stuff, but it's still a Michael Bay movie, so the flaws are obvious. The other movie I saw was Sonic 2. Great movie, but it could have been a little bit shorter. Next is probably my favorite movie that I saw during the month of April. And that is A24's Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Great movie, highly recommend it. Easily the best movie I have seen this year in theaters. Come at me. I also saw The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I got to see Nick Cage doing Nick Cage things in a Nick Cage movie. Again, great movie, highly recommend it. Later that weekend, I saw The Northman. Not a bad movie, but I definitely prefer The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And then finally, after talking to The Dave Show and RWR Movie Reviews, I will have their links as a pinned comment down below. Both of them were telling me during a conversation the three of us were having on Twitter to go check out The Bad Guys. So I did. That being the last movie I saw in theaters for the month of April. Gotta say, it definitely lived up to its expectations. Now, time to show off everything I watched at home during the month of April. Excluding Stallone movies, pin comment down below. First things first, the Batman, the animated series. So I'm going to be honest, I did not give this a chance when it first was being released, because I grew up on Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman, and I felt like this was blasphemous. Sat down, I've watched all 65 episodes. There's some good stories in here. I think the thing I hated the most, and it's also one of my biggest nitpicks with pretty much anything that features the Justice League, but the Justice League isn't front and center, is that all of these things, like this for example, Young Justice does it, even the Lego Batman movie did it, where you get a glimpse of the Justice League, and it's awesome, but you only get a glimpse. I really wish we could have gotten a Justice League cartoon from the characters that we got in this. Overall, it was better than I thought it was going to be, but it's still kind of low on my ranking list of Batman animated cartoons. Again, I don't hate it, so let's at least get that out of the way. So like I said, this month I saw The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and Walmart put a bunch of Nick Cage movies on sale, so I picked up The Trust. Not a bad movie. But out of the Nick Cage movies I've seen over the last few months, this one, not great. Could have been better, but it definitely could have been worse as well. Face Off and Snake Eyes. Yes, I watched both of them. I've got to say, after rewatching it, I think I've come to the conclusion when it goes to theatrical Nick Cage, Face Off is probably my favorite Nick Cage theatrical movie. It was awesome. It was crazy. Nick Cage got to be Nick Cage. It's pretty good. Snake Eyes. This movie gets a lot of hate. It is definitely flawed. And it kind of sucks because it's made by Brian De Palma, who made Carlito's Way and Scarface, two movies I love. The problem with Snake Eyes isn't that it's a bad movie, but when you look at the stuff that Nick Cage did prior to this, and you look at the stuff that Brian De Palma did prior to this, it doesn't hold up. Is it a bad movie? No. It has some good twists. It kept me entertained the entire time, but I do understand the hate it gets. No Time to Die. I bought this opening week, and it took me a while to finally watch it because it is almost 3 hours long. Now, I definitely want to say this was a good swan song for Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig, you are probably my favorite, if not my second favorite James Bond. You killed it in the role. Thank you for these movies. Overall, I think Skyfall is probably still my favorite. I know a lot of people have been praising this one, and it's a good movie. Do not get me wrong. I am not hating. But something about it, to me at least, felt like a good action movie. And Daniel Craig was doing his thing as Bond, but it felt a little too much like they were trying to bring in the older, cheesy Bond stuff. And we don't really get that with Daniel Craig. And it's kind of weird that they were putting that stuff in here instead of just doing a proper conclusion. If they wanted to do the cheesy stuff, I think they should have put it in Skyfall or Spectre to build up to what we got in No Time to Die. SpiderMan No Way Home. This was my favorite theatrical release of 2021, and after a rewatch, it still holds up. This movie is amazing, pun intended. This is hands down the best live action Spider-Man movie we've gotten to date. I do hope that this new trilogy that Sony has greenlit does see Tom Holland continue being Peter Parker. I think the ending is a good indication that we're going to get more Tom Holland as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. But if Sony and Marvel want to do some multiverse stuff, you'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. I'm actually here for it. Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Predacons Rising. I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch anything that day. I was like, I need to get in at least one movie, and this is 65 minutes. It's good. If you've watched Transformers Prime, you'll enjoy it, but long story short, I picked it up because it was a short release, or a short movie. The Unholy. I didn't like it. It felt like a drag. Once we actually got to the stuff that was supposed to be, you know, the scary stuff, I just did not care. Sorry, but it is what it is. Body Bags. Great movie. Highly recommend it. And it's a cheaper of the Shout Factory, Scream Factory movies. So you have no reason to not check it out. WreckIt Ralph and Ralph Breaks the Internet. So for the month of March, I felt like because I was trying so much to focus on movies I hadn't watched in my collection, that I ended up picking a bunch of movies that were kind of So when I first started watching stuff for the month of April, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to watch some stuff that I know I like. So I went back to these two because I like both these movies. Ralph Breaks the Internet is a sequel that holds up to what was given to us in the original. And to my knowledge, I don't think they're going to try to make it a trilogy for the sake of doing a trilogy. Like that, the creators have said there's no plans for a part 3. Technology hasn't gotten there yet. So, to the people behind the WreckIt Ralph movies, thank you. Sherlock Holmes. I thought, why not? Again, I wanted to watch movies that I wanted to watch. So this one, I picked up a while back because the Steelbook I think was $5. Good movie. Definitely recommend watching it. Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay. This pretty much falls under the same thing as both the Transformers Prime movie and the WreckIt Ralph movies. After watching what I felt were a bunch of stinkers, I wanted to watch something I wanted to watch. And I was kind of running out of time, and this movie is 85 minutes long. So I thought, you know what? I like this movie. It's not that long. I'm going to get something in for the night. So I did. 12 Monkeys. So after hearing what happened with Bruce Willis, I wanted to watch something of his I owned that I enjoyed. So I watched this, and I've got to say this movie still holds up. It is a classic to anyone that wants to watch some really good Bruce Willis. Highly recommend 12 Monkeys. Great movie. Definitely think you should check it out if you have not seen it. Heat. I picked this one up at Best Buy a while back because I think I got it for $7.99. And I was told I needed to rewatch it because I haven't watched it in a while. For a 3-hour movie, I ended up watching it and it was worth it. Oculus. One of the collection videos that I will be doing in the near future is me showing off my Blumhouse collection. And I did not realize I have not opened up my copy of Oculus. So I opened it up, popped it in, and watched it. This is made by the same person that brought you The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, Dr. Sleep. I don't think I need to say much more. Alright, I did say I wasn't going to do any overlap for what I watched for the Stallone month video and what I watched for this one, but this one I kind of have to do that. Since Stallone was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I'm not just going to pop in Volume 2. I got to pop in the first one first. So I did watch Volume 1 before putting in Volume 2. Definitely got to say, the first movie still holds up. It is definitely the great movie that everyone says it is. I just want to point that out because some of my friends love it more than I do. And that doesn't mean I hate it, but they just like it a lot more than I do. Like if I were to say, oh, I'd give it a high 7, low 8, my friends are probably going to give it a high 8, low 9. Simple as that. And then I watched Volume 2 because it features one Sylvester Stallone. Deadpool on 4K. If you saw one of my more recent new release videos, and you know that I was only going out because I hadn't been out for a few weeks. And Best Buy happened to have this one on sale, and I actually do not have it at the time. Well, I didn't have it at the time. Picked it up, watched it that night. Still holds up. Still a great movie. Doctor Strange. I got this because it is a Shout Factory exclusive. They said it's going to be a limited run. I did finally watch it after I did the unboxing. If you saw the new release video where I feature this, then you know that after watching it, after I didn't realize this existed, I hated it. They changed a bunch of stuff up. This that you see on the cover doesn't happen until the end of the movie. It just doesn't hold up like some of the other stuff. Sorry, but it is what it is. Butterfly. So I forgot that I bought this a while back, and it is proof that David Cronenberg can make a movie that is not super violent and overly sexual. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely some violence in there. There's some sex in there, that sort of stuff. But to see him actually tone it down and focus on the story, not saying he doesn't focus on the story in his other movies, but if you've seen his other movies, then you know what I'm talking about. It was cool to see a more traditional sort of film from him. Or as traditional as he can get. Didn't hate it, but I will say if I were to rank all the Cronenberg movies I've seen, it's kind of middle of the road for me. That doesn't mean don't check it out. It's definitely worth checking out. Just keep an open mind when you're watching it. Fried Berry. Alright. Shudder has been killing it with their exclusives. And this one has been getting a lot of attention. So I ended up buying the DVD because I couldn't find the Blu-ray. Shortly after I got the DVD, I find the Blu-ray. I finally got to sit down and watch it. This is a weird movie. Like, I don't know what else to say. It is a weird movie. I can't recommend it because I know that some of the people that are watching this right now are going to hate this movie. Even the people that get the Shudder exclusives, there's a chance you're not going to like this movie. I just want to warn you now. Like, was it good? I enjoyed it. I enjoy weird stuff. But I don't know how I feel about recommending this movie to everyone else. And I don't think the trailers are a good indication. So proceed with caution when you watch this. That's the best thing I can say. Between Worlds. Again, another Nicolas Cage movie that I picked up because it was $5 at Walmart. Did not like this one. The story itself is decent. It's the fact of how it's being told in this movie that makes it a little uncomfortable for me to watch. To anyone that wants me to go a little bit further in it, my social media links are in the description below. Feel free to message me on one of those and we can talk about it there. I don't feel comfortable talking about it in this video. Ron's Gone Wrong. I got this because it was on sale at Best Buy. I think it was $20 to get the 4K. I did not want to get this movie at first. And then I kept hearing, oh, it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. I was like, all right, when the 4K drops in price, I'll pick it up. Well, guess what? The 4K dropped in price. So I picked it up. This is a good movie. I recommend checking this out. It has a good message, great animation. It was funny. It was heartfelt. It's weird because this was made by Fox before Disney bought Fox. But it has all the stuff you would expect in a Disney movie. Yeah, that's right. The company that Disney bought made a better Disney movie than Disney has done over the last few years. I said it. Highly recommend checking this one out if you're an animation fan. If you like some of the earlier Pixar stuff, I think you'll like this one. If you have kids, watch it with your kids. The Mummy Trilogy. I got this in one of my Groove hauls after giving Groove a shout out, and they decided they were going to show the thank you and gave me a code so I could get a discount on an item. This is what I picked. I got the 4K trilogy that features The Mummy Returns, and Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. The first movie is amazing. I still love it. Great movie. Highly recommend it. Mummy Returns. The CG feels dated even for its time, and I don't know how I feel about that. Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, do not watch. Don't recommend it. That is probably the worst movie that I watched during the month of April. I said it, I meant it. Simple as that. American Zombieland. I got this one at Dollar Tree. I thought, you know what? I'm going to watch one of these just because I got a little bit of time to spare. So let me put one of these in. I love my zombie movies. This is probably the second worst movie that I've seen of the month, next to The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. At least this has, we have no known actors and no budget. Tomb of the Dragon Emperor ain't got that, so congrats American Zombieland. Y'all get the edge over one movie because y'all actually didn't have the budget to do what you wanted to do. And finally, Titan AE. This is the first and only attempt that Don Bluth made into CG to try and compete with Pixar. On one end, he managed to get a star cast. There's some great visuals in here. The story doesn't hold up and the animation style changes multiple times throughout the movie. So what is meant to be this cinematic masterpiece feels kind of jumbled. I applaud Don Bluth for everything he's done during his career to kind of stand up against Disney. I mean, I like Disney movies as well, but they are giant and sometimes they do step on bugs. So it is nice to see someone try and fight back. But this could have been a lot better than what we ended up getting. So I definitely recommend checking it out just for the novelty's sake. Seeing another studio try to do CG that wasn't DreamWorks or Pixar. There's some good stuff in here and there's some potential there, but overall, I can't say it was great. But that is everything I watched during the month of April. I will have a pinned comment down below where you can see the Stallone movies I watched during Stallone month. I will also have links where I mentioned seeing the bad guys at the recommendation of RWR Movie Reviews and the Dave Show. So be sure to give both of them a subscribe. Also, in my other video where I gave a list of all the Stallone movies I watched, definitely give Mid-Level Media a subscribe. But more importantly, what did you watch during the month of April? That's going to do it for this one. If you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. You like what you see? Leave a thumbs up. Comment down below what movies you watched during the month of April. Did you watch your physical media stuff? Did you go to the theaters? Did you stream stuff? Let me know in the comments. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all for watching and tune in next time.